Hi, everybody. Welcome to the weekly Facebook Live. Today, I want to talk about polarity and why polarity is so important in relationships and definitely in life in every area. So, I'm just going to wait until a few people come on. Usually, you trickle in here and there. Welcome. We're talking about polarity today, the opposites. And yes, opposites attract, but it's not the same way that we've been taught in our society what opposites are. So we're going to talk about that. My cat is meowing at the door. Should I get him? I'm going to get him. 1 second. He's such a pain. Toby! He's such a pain in the ass. He always comes, hey, Mary Carol, good day. He always comes to the door or once out exactly when I'm doing like a live or something really important. Anyways, classic. So we're talking today about polarity, but I first want to know, I see there's 4 people right now, more people trickling in. Mary Carol said hi. Hi, darling. Who else is here? Who else is here? Mark in the comments, say hi, say good morning. Well, it's not really morning where I am, but maybe where you are. Who is here? Oh, yay, Montreal. Amazing. Hi, Sandra. Thanks for saying hi. Who else is here? All right, I will let the answers trickle in. Welcome, everybody. I love, love, love it when I get interactions from my audience. You know that. I say that all the time. So thank you guys for sending me a message. It makes me really know that I'm not just talking to my own face, because I do see my face while I'm on this Facebook Live, but I don't see your faces. So it's a little awkward. So I really appreciate the interaction. Yes, Mary Carol's in Massachusetts. Amazing. Thanks for sharing. So, why is polarity important and what is polarity? Oh my gosh, more answers. Conti Fan from Richmond, Virginia? There's lots of, or Richmond, BC. There's lots of Richmonds. But very cool. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for being here. Why is polarity important and what is it? Okay, so let's start with what is it? Polarity is, well, it's kind of what you would think it is. It's the poles, right? The Earth is round and the poles have a magnetic pull toward each other because they are opposite. Just like how magnets, if the positive side of one magnet is near the negative side of another magnet, zoop, they go together, right? That's polarity. Now, there's also polarity in other things like darkness and light. That's polarity inside out, up, under. There's polarity everywhere, okay? So what I'm talking about is polarity in relationships. And it's not as simple as opposites attract, but I believe that it's coming from this original place. My cat's grunting while grooming himself. So it's coming from this original place of polarity. And so opposites attract is usually said in our society, right, in pop culture and pop psychology, as, my partner is really savvy with money and I'm not, or I'm a spender, she's a saver, or I'm emotionally intelligent, he's intellectually intelligent, whatever, right? Those are the sort of common opposites attract things that we hear about in like popular dating advice, in, sort of our discourse in our society. But it's not that. It's not that polarity that's important. And it does happen all the time. But if you understand the polarity I'm talking about, you can actually super duper win in these opposites attract issues that come up in a relationship. So polarity is the masculine and the feminine attracting to each other. Now, I always say the words masculine and feminine are the only words that we have in the English language to depict the energies that I'm talking about. But for example, in Chinese culture and Chinese tradition, it's yin and yang, right? The yin being the feminine and the yang being the masculine. But they're not labeled sort of in a gendered way. Masculine and feminine in the energetic sense in the English is labeled in a gendered way and can be so misinterpreted. And the really hardcore feminists get their panties in a knot, and it's totally misunderstood. And by the way, the men do too. Men get their panties in a knot too about masculine and feminine energy and whatever. So we get in a tizzy about it because we don't know what we're saying. We don't know what it is. So what it is they are two energies that we all have within us, all of us. I have masculine energy in me and I have feminine energy in me. Men have both. If I identified more masculine and I was attracted to more feminine, then I could still be a woman. This is where, all the interesting different kinds of pairs come about, right? Female, female, male, male, transgender, and all the different kinds of configurations. It doesn't actually matter what kind of equipment you have, right? It matters what kind of energy you identify with most and where you feel the most at home. Then whatever that energy is, it's the opposite that you're attracted to. So I won't go too much into the variations. I'm going to talk about male-female relationships where the female identifies as feminine and the male identifies as masculine. Or even more specific, I'm going to talk to you guys who are all women and you all identify as feminine because you're attracted to masculine men, okay? Which is also where I'm coming from. So my expertise comes from my own experience and my own studies. So polarity is important because when we show up in our feminine, we attract in the masculine of the man in front of us, whether that's when you're dating or whether that's your long-term partner. Let me explain. When I'm in my feminine with my man, it ignites his masculine and vice versa. When he's in his masculine, it ignites my feminine. We're a perfect flow of polarity. When I feel a little bit more in my masculine, like for example, I'm working on a webinar for tomorrow, by the way, which you should sign up for. There's a link. So I posted it in this group. So if you haven't already gotten the email, if you're not on my email list, sign up for it because it's amazing. It's actually about this. It's how to increase your feminine magnetism. Point is, when I'm working really hard on a project, I get really driven and I get really I push through, which is masculine energy, and it's very helpful in building a business. It's very helpful when you're a parent and your kid starts running across the street and there's a car coming and you scream at them, "Get back here!" or you grab them and pull them back on the safe side. That's a masculine, quick going energy. You can't be feminine in that moment and say, "Johnny, would you please, darling, come back to me and walk beside me? It's not that safe right now." The kid would be flattened, dead, right? Sorry, that's really, I'm kind of in my masculine right now, a little, shocky. No, but my point is, I'm trying to be funny too. That is not helpful, right? Using only your femininity is never helpful, and using only your masculinity is never helpful. And this is where my point comes in. Masculinity, over masculinity in most women in our society is a pandemic. It's a problem. We have been taught by our society, which is a masculine society, by the way, right? Driven, you should be successful, goal oriented, make money, and blah, blah, blah. And actually, statistically, in today's Western society, women are actually making more money than their men counterparts and than their partners. And I've been in many, well, 2 relationships in the past, 2 very, very serious relationships in the past, where I made the dough. I still make the dough, but my current partner makes more than me, which energetically is a thing. And for me, it is, and for most of us, and a lot of us don't. A lot of us don't admit that, but it's a thing. I hated that I made more money than them. I wanted them like, pull up your socks already. That's a whole other issue. It's a masculine feminine thing, and I really needed them to step up in their masculine more, and it played out in that area. That is not to say that you can't make more than your partner and not be in your feminine. I'm not saying that, but it takes work. So in our society, most of us are too much in our masculine because that's revered, that's honored, that is seen as valuable. Whereas being in your feminine is not seen as valuable by any societal standards. Okay? Intuition, never valued by the medical system, by the political system, by the economic system. Intuition is not valued at all, although it is valuable, right? If you use intuition in those areas, if your intuition is honed and sharpened, if you use your intuition in those areas, it will be very beneficial. But it's not valued. And this innately and fundamentally devalues women. Because when we are connected to our femininity, which makes us feel home and it makes us feel whole and full, we are holistic beings that use intellect, problem solving, all the pragmatic stuff, reasoning, all that stuff. And we use our intuition. We use connection as a language. We use our softer skills, our emotions. But we're not allowed to use those skills in our society. And this is where I come in, because gosh darn it, I am on a mission to help women feel fully empowered and fully embodied, because we are actually more powerful that way, which is a threat to the patriarchy. And I won't go into that. There's a really, 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 really beautiful, beautiful, amazing, amazing book that everybody that is listening to me right now should read. And if you're hearing it, you should read it. That's a signal, a sign, a sign, from the universe, really, truly, without sounding too cliche about how feminine I'm being. The book is by Regina Thomasur, or Mama Gina is her stage name. And the book is called Pussy, Pussy. Now, don't be turned off, because it's not actually about vaginas. It's about the patriarchy and how us women have been oppressed into fitting into the patriarchy and are being removed from our femininity and our innate desire to be connected to those parts of us, and in order to keep us oppressed. Because guess what, ladies? We are so much more powerful than any patriarchal system can handle, because we have innate wisdom. When we are connected to our bodies and our inner guidance system, we are tenfold, if not 100-fold more powerful than we are now, right? I mean, witches used to be burned at the stake. And we know this, it's a historical fact, witches were burned at the stake. What defined a fucking witch? Sorry, guys, I'm getting really passionate here. They were midwives. They were medicine women. They were sages. I'm a midwife by trade. I've delivered hundreds of babies. And by the medical system, we're still looked at as weird. but we are in the medical system. We're trained by the medical system. So it's not original midwifery. But what I'm trying to say is we were burned at the stake for having wisdom that wasn't scientifically extrapolated, but worked. So we were called witches. We were told we were practicing magic. And even if so, we were practicing magic, who cares? But like, it was a threat. We were threatening the patriarchy and the system, which was at that time, I think, like a very a monarchy and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I don't know the historical actual timeline that well right now, but it's just part of my point. My point is, it is very threatening to the patriarchy and to people who don't want women to be powerful, for us to connect with innate wisdom and have intuitive impulses and go with them, right? If you have a kid or anything, any other intuition, but when you have a child and you're a mother, your intuitive impulses for that child are so strong. And you might, bring your child to the doctor and say, I think my child has an ear infection. And the doctor says, or it's usually the opposite. I think my child has whatever, a sinus infection. This actually happened to me. A sinus infection, they're coughing and they have an earache. And the doctor says, no, they have an ear infection. Whatever, I know what I'm doing. Like, your dumb mother intuition, like you probably went on the internet and researched it and you don't know anything. Now, they don't say that overtly, but that's basically the message. So the doctor gives antibiotics and it doesn't work because it's the wrong antibiotic for the wrong thing. They have a sinus infection. It's actually a virus. It's putting pressure on the ears. That's why the ears are hurting, but it's not working. The medicine is not working because it's not for the ears. It's for the sinuses. Do you get me? And so my point here is, we have these innate intuitions that we have not been sharpening, and so we don't trust our intuition anymore because we've followed what we thought was our intuition in the past, and sometimes it's failed. But you're not following your intuition that you've sharpened. You're just on a whim trying your intuition. You need to sharpen your intuition and start trusting it. So that's one thing you can start doing today, is on small things, start trusting your intuition. Small, okay? Not big decisions like where your kid should go to college or whether you should sell your house during COVID. Like, don't use your intuition on that. Use your intuition on, should I, do I need to eat right now, or bored? Like, check in with yourself, those kind of little things that are inconsequential. Back to feminine energy. The reason it's very important for us to feel at home in our energy is because if we are mostly masculine in our daily life and we haven't honed in on the skills of what it takes to be feminine, we're going to show up more masculine in our relationships. Now, here's the twist. Usually we easily fall into our femininity, our flirtatious side, our what I call underdeveloped femininity, when we're dating, when it's the beginning, because you're showing your perfect initial perfectness, right? It's called the honeymoon phase or whatever. And you're putting your best foot forward. And so what was I saying about that? Right. And that is when you're in a heightened new chemical state with someone that you're attracted to. But once that wanes, this is why relationships go sideways so often, because we don't have the skills to connect deeply to our femininity on a regular basis. And that is what helps us sustain the polarity throughout long-term relationships. What ends up happening is we step into more and more of our masculine, especially if we have a baby. We are in caretaker mode, and we just kind of put our partners under the wing of caretaker mode and start mothering them. Now, I will guarantee you, no healthy man, Oedipus maybe, no healthy man has ever wanted to have sex with his mother. And energetically, that's what you're doing. If you become mothering to your partner, the passion will go away. So this is why femininity is so important. Masculinity is important for men, and they need to not be emasculated by us because we're stronger than we think in that emasculation. And either a man who's very, very strong in his masculine will leave you because he just won't put up with that. Or he starts dwindling in his masculinity, and you increase in your masculinity, and he starts feeling emasculated and smaller, and you are the masculine in the relationship, or at the very least, the polarity is neutralized. What you want is the polarity, this arc, this beautiful arc of polarity between you two. Now, you don't always have to be in your feminine. You're allowed to be sometimes in your masculine. You're allowed to swing back and forth. But if you want to attract a high quality, high value, deeply masculine and embodied masculine man, you need to show up in your embodied feminine, because an embodied masculine man is not attracted to you unless you do. So you're never going to find him unless you do that work first. You can't trick an embodied masculine man into dating you and marrying you. You just can't, because they're too strong in their own masculinity and in their own connection to what they know they need. So this is why you keep attracting, sees at the forefront a masculine, strong, go-getter kind of guy, an amazing guy, and then something goes sideways. It's because you are not embodied in your femininity in that strong, embodied, long-term way. You're just showing up in that immature femininity that works initially, but the relationship goes sideways because you're attracting someone on that level, and you're both not fully embodied in your essences. So this is why my work works, because I work with women to help them shift into that deeply grounded, empowered femininity with healthy boundaries. You're not being taught how to be a doormat and submissive. That's not what femininity is. You're empowered and whole. Finally, you're whole. And this is what will then attract a whole man. Not a wounded man who just wants a mother to take care of him, which ultimately is who those guys are that are not fully showing up in their masculinity. Does this all make sense? I've been talking for 20 minutes, holy moly, but it's such a huge topic. It's such an interesting topic. My webinar tomorrow is going to be so fun and amazing, and I can't wait to share more information there. But you're getting a little sneak peek because you're my tribe, my private Facebook tribe. And I would like to hear questions, and there's a delay, so type quickly because I might not see it before there's quite a bit of delay. So start typing your questions or your comments. Let me know if any of this resonated. Let me know. Oh, great. Let me know if it makes perfect sense, says Mary Carol. Oh, you're such a sweetheart. You're amazing. You are so good at getting all this stuff. There's some questions about Regina Thomas, Mama Gina. Sandra, do you know her, or did you just quickly Google her and find it? Do you have any experience reading her materials or following her? She's really amazing. I'm not seeing more comments, so I'll wait some more. A common question I often get asked is, and Conti is saying very interesting. Yeah, isn't that interesting concept? I often get asked by a lot of strong feminist women. Okay, Sandra, cool. You Googled her and found her. Amazing. By strong feminist women who are like, well, like, what are you saying? I should just be like this flirty, pretty, like bimbo? No, that is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you shouldn't be a harsh man with your man energy and not connect to your deepest innate, soft, gorgeous, radiant, magnetic self, which actually makes you not weaker, which society makes you believe. These women buy into that, right? That femininity is weaker. It actually makes you stronger. And the way it makes you stronger is because you're finally whole. And a lot of women say to me that they feel like there's something missing, and they believe it's like a relationship is missing, which of course that's part of it. Or if they're in a healthy relationship, they consider healthy, pretty happy, but there's still something missing. And that's what was happening with me. This is how I stumbled on this work, is I realized that feeling that there's something missing, that feeling that I'm constantly needing to eat sweets, for example, to fill something up, to fill a void, is a missing connection to my own femininity. Isn't that interesting? So what I answer to these sort of hardcore feminists, and I'm a feminist, okay? So I don't want any haters. What I usually answer to these hardcore feminists is feminism is amazing. And we do want equality to men, and we do want equity, but we don't want to be the same as men. And this is what I think gets misinterpreted. There's so much more to being a feminist than just the same as men. What kind of feminism be? Kind of feminism to promote is where we have our in our own right, with in our own way, not in comparison to men. So, and feminism, in my opinion, is incomplete. It's incomplete in that it just talks about being equal to men and having equal rights. And Conti is asking, how about jealousy? While I'm finishing my thought, can you just type more about jealousy? Thanks. I don't really understand what you mean just by saying jealousy. So just expand a little bit on that. Is that it is incomplete. And so we're just vying for equality, but we're not remembering that we don't want to be the same as men. We really don't. We want to be glorious in our own right, and we want that to be honored and valued in our society. That's real feminism to me. So here we go. All right, I'm going to just read some of the... Sandra said, I love your information you were sharing. Very eye-opening thing, really thought of. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome, Sandra. I'm so glad. And Conti is asking, how about jealousy? So I have not seen any further comments to my question. So I will answer that as best I can, what you're asking. But how about women being jealous? So a woman being jealous of another woman, or a woman being jealous of her man, is based on her not being connected enough to her own femininity. Because, baby, when you are connected to the goddess within you, nothing will bother you. And I don't mean you will be walked all over, right? Or cheated on, or your partner can do whatever he wants or she wants. And then you're not supposed to be jealous. I'm not talking about that. But for example, I've talked to my partner about this. If he decided to cheat, I wouldn't be jealous. Or if he decided to connect with another woman, I wouldn't be jealous. I would be angry, because that's not part of our relationship. And let's just put it this way. You have what kind of relationship you're creating. If we were creating an open relationship, then why would I be jealous? Right? Create the kind of relationship that you want. I want a monogamous relationship with my partner where other partners are not allowed in. So if my partner decided to look elsewhere, then that would be considered outside of our agreement. And I'm so secure that he only wants me currently, right? We can't know what's happening, but I'm so secure in who I am and in how much I love myself that I actually am not worried. So do you see how when you connect to yourself and when you connect to your worth and when you your own standards, it doesn't actually even matter. So if something did happen in our relationship where my partner decided to look elsewhere, I may decide to just call it quits, or I may not, because I'm so secure in who I am that I might be willing to have that conversation to see what was going on for him. And I would certainly I've certainly learned how to express what's going on for me. So part of being a real feminine goddess is knowing how to demand your needs and getting them. But it's how you demand your needs. So in that scenario, I would be like, I know what I need. I would know how to communicate them. And I would feel really secure in that. So I have never actually been a jealous person in a relationship, never. Even in past relationships, even in, a little bit more toxic relationships where I was learning how to do this stuff. I've never been jealous because I've always been pretty secure in who I am, and that, that doesn't threaten me. And therefore I've attracted, well, I shouldn't even say that because I've had some partners cheat on me. So it's very interesting, but there's no jealousy for me. So I hope that answers the question. We have been on this live for 31 minutes, which is so exciting, so much content. Mary Carol's sharing she's never been jealous either. Yeah, I know. So it's very interesting, isn't it? Okay, so I'm going to wrap this up. I hope to see you on the webinar. If you have finding the opt-in page or the login, you're welcome, Conti. So nice to see you. If you're having trouble, just message me or write in the comments here, and I will certainly get it over to you. All right? I will talk to you on Tuesday, same time. And if I see you on the webinar tomorrow, that will be great too. Okay, bye guys.